We are going to be continuing from the conflicts of Africa, and there is a conflict. We are going to be looking at what conflicts are in Africa. We are going to be looking at a series of those conflicts there, but most importantly, we are going to be talking about how those conflicts existed and what caused those conflicts. Mohammedan early switch of power, then Mahdiist war, then Western Desert Campaign. Then you also look at the Suez crisis. Then you look at the 6-day war conflict. Then from there, shall be looking at other wars. Now they are saying current wars in Africa. What are some of those current wars in Africa? There are currently 50 African countries in the world together. All they are experiencing what we call the post-confluences, conflicts in African nations. In Africa, they are saying in Africa, Africa is all in Western Africa. They have countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Liberia, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, then Togo. Those ones are found within West Africa, and you're going to be seeing the challenges these countries try to face in there. From there, we are going to be looking at East African countries. All East African countries, we have Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan, and Uganda. Those are some of the countries within East Africa. Then you have the violent countries and the crisis in East Africa, or in the Swift of East Africa. We are going to be looking at what is occurring in West Africa. They are saying that West Africa has been a grouping with various or violent conflicts and also civil for the decades. However, the period between 1880s to 1990s wars have been in existence, or there has been wars in existence for some good time. And they are saying that very many people have been engaged, and also people have lost their lives. Then you have what we call the past conflicts in Liberia. Those are some of the wars that try to exist there. If you read it through, they will talk about a battlefront of Libya is also in there. They are mentioning about very many countries that even try to be under different wars at stake. Then they are saying Liberia, those are the wars, the violent wars in Liberia. They're talking about the United Front, Revolutionary United Front rebel group was also there. President Muhammad regime, Richard, then Charles. Then they talk about Gaddafi and Traore supported UFA. Those are how those people are trying to fight during those wars. Now we are going to be seeing the conflicts that we are existing in Africa and what caused them, according to the way how I display to you. That's what the other side. They are saying that the root cause of the violent conflicts in West Africa, or the civil wars in East Africa, is linked to the several complex factors. And they're saying in his article, conflict and peace in West Africa can be determined to different factors that we are going to be seeing that might have caused this conflict to go on in Africa. They're saying border cohesion factors emerged within the related countries, or related to them, governance and corruption, human violence, poverty, ethnicity, and small armies. So those are some of the factors that we are going to be talking about. For instance, the first factor they are mentioning here, they're talking about bad governance. All Western countries and other African countries, they are associated with that problem that they have been associated with bad governance. When you talk about bad governance, it is associated with corruption. Talk about arrests, brutality, imperialism, and other acts of that manner. So those are things that have resulted into wars in West Africa. The other thing they're talking about is corruption, embezzlement of government resources that could have been influencing development, and also fighting poverty in African countries has caused the violent things or acts to be going on. Then they're mentioning about human rights, the rule of law, that people in Africa, all presidents in Africa, tend to violate the rule of law and violate the rule of law. They are talking about poverty, absolute poverty, when person or people or an individual is lacking what to use or what to eat in terms of basic necessities, is also a problem. Then the other talking about small armies or groups that are being formed or created within different countries to overthrow the powers, and they are saying that light weapons, when you talk about light weapons, they are referring to preferentiations in terms of weapons or organs, that these tools they use tend to be known to be of good emphasis, but also other directions. Now there are how those points are explained there. The one I've been talking about, the bad governance, the post-colonial rule in West Africa. African countries have been fought with several challenges. They are saying the elementary among the issues is a bad governance and corruption. Following the independence of several regimes across the sub-regions, mismanaged states and resources, which weakened the governing institutions, that resulted into economic state and political apprehensions, and also breakdown of the social peace and stability. For instance, they are talking about these conflicts have been seen in Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, and other related things. I think those are the points that I was explaining about. Then they are talking about corruption. In West Africa, they say that almost the previous nations, Nigeria has been highlighted as one of the underlying factor in Nigeria Delta conflicts, where they obtain oil, that there has been massive corruption as that of the largest oil resources in Nigeria, where people tend to be getting resources in terms of money and other related things. Then they are talking about incidences of human rights abuses. I talked about the abuses the last time back, that in West Africa, such as the forms the basics of eruption and the renewal of violent conflicts. They are saying that these conflicts, they are associated to what we call the violation of human rights, where presidents and other leaders tend to be not giving respect to the rights of the citizens. So then they're talking about grievances. We talked about the grievances between different parties, between the citizens and the people who are in leadership. They tend to be enjoying much grievances compared to the Africans or other citizens. So that one channels the Africans, hence also staging up. Then talking about ethnic marginations is also another thing there. Different groups or different people may be in leadership and they don't favor other region, is also another factor there to consider. So those are some of the factors that all the causes of the wars within West Africa. So those are what I tried to explain before, but now we are going to be looking at a new chapter, and this time around I think we shall be looking at the economic factors which presides to the war. Economic factors, there can also be a change. Those are things I mentioned about last time. I think I just want now we look at, say, economic integration in Africa, where we shall be picking up from. But for now, I beg you stop here, where we shall be picking up next time from